Welcome back, everybody. We've got another thrilling update to talk about and discuss. And today we're diving into what I would describe as a dramatic showdown between President Trump and Canada's new leader, Carney, as trade tensions explode. President Trump has boldly terminated all trade negotiations with Canada, slamming their new digital services tax on American tech giants like Amazon and Meta as a direct attack on the U.S. Canada fired back with a massive 50% surcharge on U.S. steel imports, threatening struggling American industries. And Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, even called out Canada's past leadership as the idiot king Trudeau, adding fuel to this fiery clash. He's been relentless in his critique, pointing to Trudeau's decade-long reign as a disaster that tanked Canada's economy with policies like Bill C-69, a no-pipeline law that crippled energy development, slashed revenues, and left the country buried in debt. The Shark Tank investor sees this as the root of Canada's current desperation, setting the stage for the current showdown. Looking ahead, I predict this fiery clash will culminate in a strategic retreat by Canada's PM Carney within the next week or so. Facing Trump's unyielding tariff ultimatum and the economic pressure from a tech tax that's already backfiring, Carney will likely suspend the digital services tax by the 4th of July, July 4, signaling a return to trade talks. This move, driven by Canada's reliance on U.S. markets and its internal economic fragility, think 25% poverty rate, a plummeting loonie, and no GDP growth, will force a pragmatic compromise. Our president, Trump, being the master negotiator he is and Jedi behind the art of the deal, will leverage this victory to secure a lopsided trade deal favoring American steel and tech industries, potentially unveiling it by Labor Day, cementing another win for his America First agenda while Canada scrambles to stabilize under new leadership. But stick with me here, folks, and stay locked in, and we'll see just how close I am come September 1. The future looks bright, and the goal here is prosperity. I'm thrilled to have Chapter as a sponsor of this video, and I want to give them a huge thank you for helping out so many of my subscribers and saving them money with absolutely phenomenal care and free Medicare help. They've been a game changer, and I want to share some of the incredible feedback from our fellow patriots, our family, our community here on my channel. First up, here's a comment that says, "Kevin, thank you for telling the truth. My husband and I appreciate you. We called Chapter and my husband got better coverage and will of course save money. Thank you and Michelle very much." And I got to tell you guys, that's the kind of win we love to hear. Another subscriber wrote, "Kevin, I thank God for you and your love for the people. Thank you for sharing Chapter with us/me. It really helped me save money and get better coverage. Keep doing what you do. Many blessings to you and family." Well, amen to that. And then there's this gem. Just contacted Chapter. Vincent was very knowledgeable and just overall great. He saved me big $3 signs, exclamation point. Thanks, Kevin, for getting the word out. And another longtime subscriber shared how they called Chapter. I've been with them for over 2 years and they're wonderful. I'm almost 69, but for the first couple of years, the ones I tried were not there to help me at all. The plans were crap. Then I found Chapter. They have saved me so much money. They enrolled me with Humana and it cost me nothing. You do not have to wait until October. If they can find a better plan than you currently have, there's no penalty for changing. Now, I just call them in October. They review my plan, tell me if there are any changes, and then done. It is absolutely that easy. And I could read you so many more, but the best comment will be your own. So pick up the phone and call. The number is on the screen, 270-467-2426, and stop wasting money. Call Chapter today and then come back and tell everybody in the comments how much you're saving. Now, as for Canada's new leadership under Prime Minister Mark Carney, Kevin O'Leary has mixed views but leans skeptical. He's described Carney as more pragmatic than Trudeau, suggesting he's testing the waters with the digital services tax, a move the Canadian investor and successful businessman believes is doomed since most Canadian tech relies on U.S. companies. While on Fox News, he hinted Carney might back off after Trump's vicious reaction, especially since Carney lacks a public mandate as an interim leader post Trudeau's exit. Kevin O'Leary has also speculated that Carney's tough stance could be election-driven noise, not a signal, given Canada's economic woes. Again, 25% poverty, and like I mentioned earlier, no GDP growth for a decade. A loonie down 41% or Canadian dollar, and a brain drain south, which basically means there's been a significant exodus of skilled and educated Canadians, doctors, engineers, tech workers, you name it, etc., all moving to the United States, south of Canada, for better job opportunities, higher wages, and a stronger economy. This loss of talent further hampers Canada's ability to recover as it loses its most productive citizens to a more robust U.S. market. But he's asking President Trump to wait for a new Canadian government before serious talks, favoring a conservative like Pierre Poilievre to align with Trump's agenda. A new Canadian government wouldn't be likely until at least January of 2026 due to the mandatory conservative leadership review following the election setbacks from April of this year, which could delay Poilievre's return and a potential shift in power, but only if his by-election win and party support solidify. And so far, based on Trump's response, Kevin O'Leary is a vocal supporter, as he usually is, and he backs President Trump's tariff threats as a bold negotiating tool, arguing the U.S. holds all the cards with its massive market. He's praised Trump's move to terminate trade talks over the tech tax as a justified stand against Canada's egregious policy, predicting it'll force Carney to rethink. And Kevin O'Leary even floated a radical idea, which was to merge the U.S. and Canadian economies, leveraging Canada's resources against China, though he admits this is more signal than noise. And he sees Trump's 7-day tariff ultimatum as a masterstroke, pressuring Canada while showcasing America's economic leverage. And he's confident Trump will use this to secure a better deal, potentially extending the July 9 deadline to Labor Day for maximum impact. Not to mention that Canada appears more likely to align with the European Union, especially as they're already planning a combined military force, signaling a shift away from U.S. integration. And the once discussed idea of Canada becoming the 51st U.S. state has faded away, leaving the future of U.S.-Canada relations hanging in a delicate balance as global alliances reshape. But for now, Canada remains a NATO member, and the partnership with the EU, in theory, is supposed to complement rather than replace that alliance with NATO leaders set to debate a new 5% GDP defense spending target. The EU deal also requires further negotiations and ratification by 10 EU member states, suggesting it's not yet a done deal. Some critics, including a few posts found on X, question whether this move is more about economic diversification and less about abandoning the US, especially given Canada's deep trade ties with America, second only to the EU, of course. But the idea of a combined military force is perhaps more about enhanced interoperability and joint projects like the UK's invitation to Canada for the Global Combat Air Program rather than a unified EU-Canada army. Maybe. But the notion of Canada drifting from US integration must be weighed against this geographic and economic reality where over 75% of its exports go to the US. And Trump's current trade war could force a rethink by Canada. And while the EU alignment is real and growing, it's likely a pragmatic hedge rather than a full pivot, especially with Carney's minority government fading facing domestic pressure and a potential conservative shift led by Pierre Poilievre. But the truth lies in a nuanced middle ground. Canada is diversifying its alliances, but a complete break from U.S. ties seems improbable given the stakes. But here's another shocking bombshell, folks. President Trump's big, beautiful bill just passed the Senate, 51-49. Another stunning victory for America, and without needing a tiebreaker from J.D. Vance. And the wins just keep on coming, folks. Senator Ron Johnson, after voting no, ran back to Senator Thune's office begging to change his vote. Lisa Murkowski flipped to a yes vote after a private chat with future President J.D. Vance on the big, beautiful bill. And just more and more triumphs for America and Trump are unfolding by the minute. We're just getting started, folks. Stick with me here, everybody. Stay tuned and locked in for all the latest. And yes, maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit with the future of the White House being anyone other than a Trump, since Eric Trump drops big time hint about possible successor to father's presidency in 2028. Oh boy, I can't wait to tell you all about it. And I have so much more to share in my next video. And check out the links down below. At the bottom of the description, there is an opt-in for my free newsletter. And you're more than welcome to join if you'd like and get the latest updates and an invitation to exclusive events, including my free mastermind. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, let me know and subscribe.